The moment the fourth buzzer hit, the sound shook the entire arena like a shockwave. Red lights flashed overhead, the giant X's burned across the screen, and thousands of audience members whispered in disbelief. 4 X's, instant rejection. On most nights, that would be the end of the story. The contestant would sigh, cry, apologize, or walk away in silence. But tonight, on the America's Got Talent stage, something different happened. The contestant known as Sexy Baby stood completely still, gripping the microphone with both hands, her heart pounding against her chest like a drum. She could feel the judgment, the disappointment, the assumption that she wasn't good enough. But instead of shrinking, she lifted her chin gently, almost gracefully, as if this moment was exactly where she was meant to stand. The judges waited for her reaction, ready for tears or excuses. Simon raised an eyebrow, expecting frustration. Sofía tilted her head with sympathy. Heidi leaned closer, trying to understand why this girl wasn't breaking down. But the biggest surprise was Howie, who exhaled as if ready to comfort her. Everyone in that arena believed her confidence had to crumble now. Yet something inside Sexy Baby refused to collapse. She breathed in slowly, feeling the cold stage air fill her lungs, and then she exhaled with a smile, soft, steady, and disarmingly genuine. In the audience, people murmured. Who smiles after being rejected by the world's most watched talent show? Who stands tall when millions are witnessing their failure live? Every instinct in her body should have told her to run backstage, hide from the cameras, avoid the embarrassment that was spreading through the crowd like wildfire. But she didn't move. Instead, she closed her eyes for a moment and remembered every hour she had spent dreaming about standing on that very stage. She remembered the nights she performed in tiny community halls, the times her friends laughed at her dreams, the moments she almost gave up because rejection felt heavier than hope. And as the buzzers echoed in her memory, she realized something powerful: she had already survived worse than this. When she opened her eyes again, something changed, not in the room, but inside her. She didn't see rejection, she saw a chance to show the world what unshakable courage looks like. The audience grew quiet, sensing a shift. The judges leaned forward, confused by her calmness. And then, with the entire theater expecting her to break, she whispered into the microphone, "Failure isn't the end, it's the beginning of who I become next." Her voice wasn't loud, but every single person heard it. The room froze. The cameras zoomed in. Even the judges, who had pressed their buzzers confidently just minutes earlier, found themselves unable to look away. In that moment, Sexy Baby transformed from a contestant to a symbol of resilience. She wasn't just standing on the stage, she was standing in her truth, refusing to let 4 X's define her spirit. And for the audience, both inside the theater and across America, this wasn't a moment of rejection anymore. It was a beginning. The audience expected her to walk away. After 4 X's on America's Got Talent, most contestants retreat with a broken heart and a shaky voice, trying to hide their disappointment. The lights dim slightly, signaling the end of her performance, and even the judges prepare for her exit. But Sexy Baby doesn't move. She stands firm, her feet rooted to the stage as if anchored by something far stronger than embarrassment. The theater buzzes with confusion. Simon leans forward, sensing something unusual. Heidi's eyes widen. Sofía glances at Howie, wondering what the girl is waiting for. But Howie, caught off guard, simply tilts his head, watching her closely. Instead of backing up or turning away, Sexy Baby steps forward, one small, deliberate step that suddenly pulls the entire room into silence. Her breathing slows. The microphone shakes slightly in her hands, not from fear, but from the weight of what she's about to do. She lifts her eyes and locks them on Howie Mandel with a gaze so direct that even he seems startled. The crowd senses something building, something they've never seen on this stage before. And then she does the unthinkable. In a voice fragile but determined, she asks, "Howie, do you believe someone who fails publicly can still inspire millions?" The question crashes into the theater like a shockwave. 1,000 people gasp at once. Nobody has ever asked a judge something like that. Not after 4 X's, not in front of America, not with the world watching. The cameras zoom closer, capturing the intensity of the moment. Simon's mouth opens slightly, stunned. Sofía slowly presses her hand to her heart. Even the backstage crew freezes, listening through their headsets. But the one most shaken is Howie himself. His expression softens, the usual humor fading into something thoughtful, something human. He wasn't expecting this, not a question about success or another chance, but a question about purpose, resilience, and meaning. He studies her face, searching for the reason behind such a bold, vulnerable question. For a moment, the audience hangs in suspense. The room feels still, like time itself has paused to hear what he will say. Howie finally takes a deep breath and responds. His voice isn't playful or harsh, it carries the weight of someone who knows what it means to feel small. If you stand back up after this, yes. That inspires more than any perfect performance. The crowd erupts, not with laughter, not with pity, but with applause. Pure, heartfelt applause that echoes across the theater. People rise to their feet, not because of a talent act, but because they've witnessed raw courage. Sexy Baby exhales sharply, relief and pride flooding her at once. She didn't get a yes from the judges, but she got something far bigger, a moment that connects with the hearts of millions watching at home. As the applause grows louder, Howie nods at her with respect. For the first time tonight, the judges aren't evaluating her talent. They are witnessing her strength. And in that one brave question, she has turned rejection into a lesson the entire nation will remember. The stage lights softened as Sexy Baby stood there, absorbing the thunder of applause that filled the entire arena. Moments earlier, she had faced one of the harshest rejections possible on national television. 4 X's, 4 loud, merciless symbols telling her she wasn't good enough. But now, something had shifted. The same crowd that had buzzed her off was leaning forward, waiting, almost hungry to hear what she would say next. She could have left quietly, accepted defeat, and disappeared backstage. But tonight wasn't about a performance. Tonight was about something deeper, something she carried with her every day of her life but had never spoken aloud. She lifted the microphone again, her hands steady this time, her eyes glimmering under the lights. She turned away from the judges and looked directly at the audience. She wasn't speaking to Simon or Howie or Heidi anymore. She was speaking to every person sitting in that theater, every viewer watching from home, and every dreamer who had ever felt crushed by rejection. A quiet hush swept over the arena as she took a slow breath. "Listen, America," she began, her voice carrying a mixture of strength and vulnerability that instantly captivated the room. "You're going to fail. Not once. Not twice. You're going to fail a lot. People will tell you that you're not good enough, that your dream is too strange, too small, too big, too unrealistic. They will judge you before they understand you. They will reject you long before they ever try to know your heart." Her words hit the audience like a gentle but powerful wave. People leaned forward, some with tears in their eyes, others nodding quietly. She continued, stepping even closer to the edge of the stage. "But if you stand in your truth, if you show up even when it feels impossible, then nobody can stop you. Not 4 buzzers, not fear, not humiliation. Nothing." The room was completely silent, as if the entire building had paused to breathe with her. The judges themselves seemed frozen. Howie's expression softened with admiration. Heidi pressed her hand to her chest. Even Simon, who rarely showed emotion, watched her with a different kind of respect. Sexy Baby's voice trembled but never broke. "I've spent years being told I wasn't enough. I've been laughed at, doubted, ignored. And today, millions of people just watched me fail publicly. But do you know what? I'm still here. I'm still standing. And so can you. Because failure doesn't make you weak, running from it does." The crowd rose to their feet in a standing ovation that rolled through the arena like a storm of energy. People clapped, shouted, cheered. Some wiped tears. Others held their hands over their hearts. It didn't matter that she didn't advance in the competition. She had created something far more meaningful, something unforgettable. She had turned her rejection into a message America needed to hear. As she walked off the stage, the judges watched her go, not as a contestant who didn't make it, but as a symbol of resilience. She had come to perform. Instead, she inspired a nation.